It is September 21st, 2018.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 68. I am Jason Waterfalls.
Okay. It's been a while since you've actually done like a name, so I was like, all right.
Do you know what I'm referencing when
No,
I
I
say
don't even
that?
fucking know.
Are you familiar? Are you fam God, this is so dumb. Are you familiar with the song Waterfalls by TLC?
No.
The song from the 90s is like, "Don't go chasing
Oh, never.
waterfalls."
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That song, when I was a kid, I used to think it said "Don't go Jason Waterfalls."
All right.
Like I thought it was like a person.
All right then.
So that song would come on and I would ask my mom like, "Oh, turn it up. It's the Jason Waterfalls song." And she never corrected me. I don't know if she thought back then that I was like saying Jason Waterfalls like in a weird inflection or something like that, but she never corrected me. And so until like I would say maybe 10 years ago, I always thought it was Jason Waterfalls. Like just I would hear the song, like, "Don't go, Jason Waterfalls." How are you today, Todd?
Well, you didn't allow. I was gonna say like, by the way, I'm Todd Sturgill, and then we would continue on. But yeah.
Well, no, you're not Todd Sturgill today. You're somebody else today. You're in a
Okay.
new body.
Oh, I see.
You, it's a body snatcher scenario today. I'm Jason Waterfalls. You are also somebody else. But how are you doing today? How are
I'm
you
all right.
feeling? You seem tired. You seem low energy.
I can change that.
I need you to put on a fake smile, slap yourself for the camera.
I just
Good.
did.
Good. I heard it.
All right. Oh no, I'm good though. Like just living life, getting ready to jump back into the workforce and whatnot.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. We talked about that a little bit last week about how your soft, shitty body is going to pay the price.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Are you preparing yourself, preparing your body in various ways?
I'm sleeping a lot.
Is that some real shit? Or are you trying to fix the old sleeping schedule?
Basically, and I don't know why, because it's like my first day is like dayside,
Yeah.
and it's like fucking me already. Because like I don't know how I think honestly I'll probably end up being up all night because like I go to work as we're recording this pretty early. This is like we're recording
Uh-huh.
this on a Monday, and my first day is tomorrow. So, and it's like 8 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, how's this gonna work? Am I just gonna be up all night?
Yeah. You'll be all right. You'll get over it.
Nah, it's not gonna be that bad.
You'll adjust. I'm in good spirits today, Todd. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited to be recording this podcast with you. I've got some irons in the fire, Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some irons in the old fire, as they say. I've been doing some work putting stuff together for a new podcast idea that I have that you guys probably won't hear about for a little while. But when it is ready to be put out into the wild, I will pimp it out on the show, um, and we'll definitely talk about it. So it's been I don't know, it's been like a kind of like creatively fulfilling day. It's been nice to like get some stuff together for this other, project that I'm working on and then like sit down and record with you. It's nice. It almost feels like it's a job. You got to act like it's a job before it becomes a job, right?
That's some real shit.
Todd, what have you been playing this week?
Less Destiny and more Monster
Good.
Hunter.
I was telling you, yeah, I was like, you're playing Monster Hunter. I was like, I'm just so glad you're not playing Destiny.
I'm
You
I'm
make me
happy I'm not
sad.
playing Destiny right now. Like it's just like I don't like hate the game right now. I don't. It's just it hurts me. It like physically hurts me to play that game right now.
It would like upset me to hear you talk about some of the shit that that game is doing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it would actually hurt me. And I
Oh,
mean,
so
look, the fans love
apparently
it.
apparently Bungie did come out and say that later opportunities for a third Seed of Light will come,
Uh-huh.
but it's not completely tied to the raid, even though right now it totally is.
No, I mean that's good at least.
I've been basically playing a little bit more Monster Hunter, rebuild like building up some shit. Like I haven't used a charge blade in a while, so I built a charge blade build.
Yeah.
Got a new charge blade from like the Lunastra shit, which I've had a lot of fun with. It's good. It's a good weapon. Soloed Arch Tempered Kushala Diora, just because why the fuck not? Because fuck randoms. Honestly, that's the main reason I don't do it. So I'm gonna tell you the story of like I jumped on there because I was like I wanted to get the Diora ticket for the layered armor they're giving because each Arch Tempered is giving you like tickets to get a layered armor.
Right.
Valazak gives you Death Stench,
Okay.
but it's still a pain in the ass to get because you still need the Sinister Cloth. But
The Sinister Cloth is still it's still like
it's still
super
pretty
rare.
fucking rare. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, good luck getting that shit. Uh, yeah, but each one gives you a layered armor, and I was like, yeah, I'll get the layered armor for the Diora shit. So jumped on there, did a quest. In like shit, within like 2-3 minutes, that quest was over because like people died to dumb shit. Like it was,
Oh, okay. So you're saying you were originally you were doing it
I was
with random.
originally doing it like
I see.
with like a group because I was just like, it's technically easier. Not really. It's easier to do it by yourself if you're a better player.
Hmm.
Because it's just like they die to unavoidable shit. I mean, they die to avoidable shit. Anytime I die in the game, it's usually to like unavoidable shit. Like there's nothing I could legitimately do. Like I'm just suffering to any of the like the stupid like the tremor shit, the roar shit that you could build around. But it's like fuck you. I already build around stun resistance because stun in my eyes is the most annoying. And but yeah, easily these assholes died within like fucking 5 minutes, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna solo it. First time I did it, only died once to unavoidable ass shit. Second run I did, no deaths, just chilling.
That's legit.
Yeah, it's like every time I don't like to say this, but it's like every time I think I'm not like some like top tier Monster Hunter player, I think I am.
So there are probably people out
Oh
there
no,
that are
there are
gonna
people
hear
that are
this.
way better than me because like there's the people that like speedrun this game, speedrun
Yeah.
Monster Hunter, and they're like this is disgusting. Like the shit I did in like probably like 15 minutes, those assholes like an architect. Like if I gave a shit and would like actually like build a speedrunning build per se, and I've seen a dude do arch tempered Kushala in like fucking almost like 4 minutes. But that's because he
Very nice.
basically got him caught in this lock. He got him caught in the stun lock, where you just easily just he would his charges were weird. Like he wouldn't even like fully charge his shit, but like he would always basically sit there and like have Kushala drop. Like I could learn that, but I don't give a shit that much.
Let me ask you this.
What's up?
Let me ask you this. What? Because really, the next big game that you're probably gonna buy, I assume, is Red Dead Redemption 2.
More than likely.
That game is like more than a month away. So, like, what are you gonna do in terms of like what's on your plate? What's your plan? And what's your gaming? You need to arrange yourself what I like to call a gaming cocktail.
Are you ready? It's a cocktail of depression. It is a little bit of Destiny.
Are you legit just gonna play Destiny and fucking Monster Hunter for the next
Yes,
month and a half?
yes.
Oh my God. I can't do it. I couldn't do it. Why are you afraid to try new things?
Because
Where does the fear come from?
it's not even fair. It's like if I'm not interested in it, I'm not interested in it.
Let me break down your walls. What would what does it take to get you interested in something? Because there are games where you're like, by all accounts, the one that I always jump to is I can't believe you still haven't played Telltale Batman. And like, and there are several other games where I'm just like, Todd, you would like this. Just make the leap, Todd. Abandon the games of the past.
I'm
I'm
not
just
like
like,
you. No, I'm just playing.
I'll never be like you. I actually suggested this to you the other day. Metal Gear Solid 5 would be an excellent game for you to jump into.
I'd probably have fun with it. I've seen the
I
game.
really do. I really think you would like that game. And that game would be a nice solid time sink for you to just really lose some time in. But and there's also, there's like I was actually just last night I was kind of like looking for co-op games because you asked me like what's the next like co-op game we can play together? And I'm like, I don't know. That's a good question. There isn't really any. Hover does come out in a few days on Switch. And I'm buying it. I don't know where you're at with that, but
I'm
that would
probably
be a
gonna end up
fun
getting
one.
it, but we were talking about building a farm together.
Well, yes, that update is not live on Switch yet though.
Ah,
And there's no word on when it will be. Now, when that does happen, we can, I think, go ahead and say that we are planning on making a co-op farm in Stardew Valley when that update goes live on Switch, the multiplayer update. And Todd and I will have a series on our YouTube channel for the Nerd Bourbon YouTube channel wherein we manage a farm together,
it'll be fantastic.
and that'll be some good content. But no, like Hover is coming out. That'll be a fun kind of like a mess around game. But I am kind of lacking a good meaty co-op experience. It would be fun to sit and play a game. I was looking at that game Strange Brigade last night,
Yeah,
and that game actually looks quite fun. Um, I would, just everything I was seeing on it was kind of intriguing me. It looks kind of sloppy. Like it looks a little like you can tell it's not like a high budge scenario. You can tell that there's not, there's not a ton of dollars inside of there. But it basically looks like it's almost like a mix of like Left 4 Dead meets Uncharted a little bit,
yeah. From what I saw, that's what it was looking like.
with a campy sort of like 1930s Indiana Jones aesthetic, like a pulp novel kind of aesthetic. And I don't know, I kind of want to try it. It's also not full price. It's only like $50, which is kind of attractive to me. I kind of like it when games don't fancy themselves a full-priced game. And so they're just like, here you go, $50. So I don't know. I kind of want to try it. The reason I was thinking about it at all is because somebody on my friends list, um, my friend my friend Chris's husband Dennis is for some reason I have a hard time saying the word Christine. I know you don't because that's your mom's name,
She
but for
actually
some
doesn't
reason
like that name.
she doesn't.
No, she hates. She actually hates her name.
Christine is because here's my problem. It's either Christine or Christina, right?
Yeah,
So like I don't like how similar those two names are. So like my mouth always wants to end it with an A when it's Christine.
uh,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel that.
And
Yeah,
then I have a problem, and then in my own mind, I'm like, wait, is her name Christine or Christina? Anyway, so we'll just say Chris, because almost everybody that I know whose name is Christine or Christina goes by Chris. My
because they
friend
usually hate their
Chris's
names.
husband, Dennis. What's up?
Because they usually hate their names.
Right. Well, my friend Chris's husband, Dennis, has the game, and he's been talking about it on Facebook a lot, and he really enjoys it. So that was where sort of the thought process came from. I was like, well, maybe it's something worth looking into. It would be nice to have a co-op game to play with you in a significant meaty co-op game. It'd be nice to have that. And that game actually, I feel like would lend itself well to streaming or recording. Um, I think we could record that and have some decent video content from it. So I don't know. That might be something to think about in the future. But other than that, it is a little bit of a dry period in a post Spider-Man world, which we talked about last week. Spider-Man kind of a world without Spider-Man has been a rough world to live in.
More than you know.
I finished Guacamelee 2, my first playthrough of that, this morning actually, as I was talking to you.
Oh, did you? Shit.
I did, yeah. As we were, it was actually happening as the Great Dookie Caper was unfolding. So for context, so I was in our bathroom in our apartment the other day, And I look on the wall and I see just a little something on the wall, a little like brown something. It just looked like a little a little piece of dookie.
Is that
I
shit?
was like, yeah. I was like, what is that? You know what I mean? Because we our walls are white, so like it stuck out like a sore thumb, you know? And I called my fiance into the bathroom. I was like, what the hell is this? And she's inspecting it. And she's like, I don't know. And like eventually she for some reason took it upon herself to taste it.
Here's the
And
deal.
it
That's
was
a ballsy move.
it is a ballsy move. I don't think she gives a fuck. She just doesn't care.
But
Like
here's the thing. Why? Like on the off chance that it was shit. Like
I don't think she would care that much. I think her mentality is like, even if it is shit, yeah, that's cool. I'll just wash my mouth out or whatever, and I'll live. Like she's got
nah,
balls.
nah, I'm good.
She does. She's got balls. She like she's very adventurous. Which is a quality that is a trait that I do not possess. She'll often she will often get on my case and you're Virgoing all over the place right now. So, yeah. But anyway, so she tastes it and finds out that it was chocolate. Okay. And then it became a whole, which you were privy to, a whole caper of finding out who got the chocolate in the bathroom and how it could have possibly ended up on the wall somehow. And it became like a whole thing, and we still don't know the clear answer, and we probably never will. But it must have been funny from your perspective
Oh, it was absolutely hilarious.
to hear that whole thing unfold.
My favorite part was when she went Sherlock Holmes on your ass.
Right. Because I said like, well, I don't know, maybe somebody, maybe you had like some ice cream in there or something like that, and like you had the door closed or something. And she goes, oh, interesting. Interesting. The door closed, huh? Well, I never closed the door. Joke's on you. I never closed the door when I use the bathroom. And I'm like, and she was like free. I'm like, all right, all right, all right, all right. I don't know who did it. I don't know. Maybe we had some sort of intruder who just came in and like ate some ice cream in our bathroom and then like quietly left without taking any of my nice and expensive things.
Well,
I don't know.
The theory that made sense was the kids.
Yeah, the theory that made sense. We recently had my younger brother and sister over. And the only thing that makes sense is that maybe one of them had something chocolatey, and I can't even remember if they did last time they were over. But the theory is that maybe they went into the bathroom with something and like got on the wall.
Might have been on their finger.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows? It was the dookie in question was near the light switch.
I mean,
So
maybe they were fumbling around for the light switch type of shit.
right, maybe they're fumbling around with the light switch, that little chocolate on their fingers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's no telling. But the point is, the Great Dookie Caper will probably remain unsolved, and nobody's gonna fess up. And really, it was just funny because it was just like an overblown thing that didn't need to be a big deal at all. I was just like, all right, there's some chocolate on the walls. Let's moving right along. you know,
Seth, this is a safe space. Did you do it?
no, I no. Look, if I did it, I have no shame. That's the thing you need to understand about me, Todd, is I have no shame. If I do something, I'll fess up to it. I've done some vile shit, and I admit to it every single time.
Oh, I know. That's why I knew it wasn't you because you were sitting there like, this ain't me. Shit.
If there is one thing, if there is nothing else that you can say about me, I'm a lot of things. I am not ashamed of who I am. That is one thing that I am not. I'm very honest with myself. So if I went into the bathroom in a chocolate-fueled stupor, flinging my chocolate dookie all over the walls, then I would fess up. Anyway, we, now I think it's kind of obvious that this episode is a little bit of a fuck it episode, a little bit of a wing it episode.
It's a garbage episode.
Just a good old conversational episode, but we do have a bit of a topic that we were talking about, and that is what we were sort of talking about, like childhood stories. And specifically, I had the idea a while ago. This actually sort of came from the vault. I wanted to talk about stories of like getting into trouble as a kid because I find that those stories are always really funny. Like just whenever you just like got into a lot of trouble, usually for a stupid reason as a kid. And I've got several. I know that you had one. Didn't you have one off the top that you wanted to tell? And
Uh,
then the rest of them you just kind of wanted to like pepper
Possibly.
in.
I'm like trying to think of like what we consider trouble.
Well, so for me, like I was generally a pretty good kid, but whenever I got into trouble, I got into like major trouble.
Yeah.
Like I never really, I never did anything like bad on the day to day, but whenever trouble happened to me or whenever I caused trouble, I like caused a lot of fucking trouble, right? One good example that I can think of off the bat, and I've probably told you this. I don't know that I've ever told any of these stories on the podcast or not. So I apologize if there's any repeating stories here. But there was one time, it was I was with my friend Ira and his sister, who I think I was dating at the time, and a couple of our friends, and we had gone to the movies. And the plan was because the movie theater is right across the street from the church that we were going to at the time, right? And so our plan was we were going to go to the movies in the afternoon, and then we were going to go over, like, walk across the street to the church after the movie was over, and just kind of hang out inside of the, I guess, annex or like youth room or whatever until Awana started. Familiar with Awana?
Yes, I am
Of
very
course, of
familiar with
course you are.
Awana.
Of course you are. So Awana is sort of like a summer kind of Christian program that a lot of churches partake in. Kind of just like kids go there for a few hours, and it's just kind of a Christian family fun activity thing in the summer. I think it happens like once a week in the summer or something like that. Anyway, so we were gonna go over there and chill until Awana started, and we were under the impression that the door would be unlocked for us so that we could hang out inside. Because it's in the middle of Louisiana summer, it's extremely hot. So we go over there. The movie's over. We walk across the street to the church, and the door is locked. Right,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Would you guys
we
break into a church?
yes, we did.
Oh, God
So
bless.
so we actually were able to pry open one of the windows. One of the windows was like cracked a little bit. I guess so it didn't get too hot in there or whatever. And we were able to open the window up enough to where one of us could squeeze in through the window and come in and unlock the door. And then we were just kind of like we go in there and we're just kind of chilling, just like we were told to do. And then all of a sudden the door is kicked open and police officers rush in with guns drawn.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their guns trained off. So like, get on the floor! Get on the floor! And I literally thought that it was a joke. Like everybody else, all of my other friends were like fucking like crying, and they have their hands up and they get on the ground and stuff. And I was almost like laughing. I'm 13, maybe 14 at the time, and I've got my hands up and I'm like, what? like really? Is this a joke? And he's got his pistol trained on. He's like, get on the ground right now, you know? And I'm like, okay. And I get on the ground, and like finally our pastor, comes up, and he's like, what's going on? Like, yeah, they're supposed to be here. They go to church here. Evidently, somebody had seen us, and they thought that we were like, yeah, breaking into the church.
You
And
guys
like
technically
steal
broke
stuff.
into the church.
I mean, yeah, I guess we did, but we weren't like doing anything illegal. We had permission to be there, and I mean, it was funny. It was just a funny scenario, and I was like, and like afterwards, the thing that everybody was hung up on was the fact that I thought it was a joke.
That's good.
Like that was something that my friends never really let me live down. Every time we would tell that story to people, they would be like, "This motherfucker just sitting here laughing," basically.
That's good. That's beautiful.
It was so ridiculous in my mind that I didn't even register it as being an actual, like, in my mind I was like, what the hell, we're just at church, like, why, what? you know
So,
I thought I was being punked.
I get,
you know
I guess I could talk about this stupid ass moment I got. It wasn't even because of me. It was because of two friends of mine.
yeah,
And I told you a little bit of the story on the when we were talking on the phone. I think when I was
yeah.
coming home from my orientation, some shit like that. But basically, it was years ago. I had to be like just around like 14, 13 type of shit.
Hmm.
And I get a phone call. They're like, "Hey, you want to hang out and whatnot?" I'm like, "Yeah, shit, why not?" It was we always used to hang out on my buddy Brandon's block, and in the time period of me grabbing my bike, biking over there, cops were there, like a
Right.
like a whole situation. Like it was a situation with some cops, another friend of ours' dad, and the victims.
Such as they were.
I honestly do feel that I think it might have been a couple, but I think honestly
Uh-huh.
these people were a little something like a little something something.
What was the situation? Was that like your friends were yelling at them,
So
right?
basically, that's how they would fuck with people. They would fuck
Yeah.
with people. They'd be sitting on like the gravestone, like right next to a church thing,
Uh-huh.
and it was just like, "Hey, hey, hey, you!" Like
Just to
that
do
was
it?
it. That was it. And like I don't know, like the couple got like offended by it. I don't fucking know. And it turned into a whole weird thing. I got there and I was just like, oh Lord, I'm just gonna fucking go. And then the dad of one of my friends at the time was like, "You ain't going anywhere. You're a part of this now." I'm like, I was like, "Oh, I don't know about that."
You're a part of this. You're just as guilty.
So I think I was there for like an hour, like an asshole, just sitting there, like just. I kind of like zoned out a lot of it because it was just like I didn't do shit.
Right. It's like I just walked into this. It is funny how things like that work. Another time that I got in trouble. This is actually when I was a little bit young. I was probably 10 or 11. And I may have told you this before. When I was in like middle school, um my friend Justin and I had like a lot of like little hustles where we would make like money, you know?
Mm-hmm.
His whole thing is he would take the PS1 game Legend of Dragoon and he would like beat it for people. Like if people were having trouble with like a boss, he's like, "Well, give me your memory card and give me like $5 and I'll beat it for you." Or whatever.
But why do people want that?
Or like he would like if they wanted to get to a certain level and they didn't want to grind or something like that. It was essentially like old school microtransactions, Todd. He,
Pay to win.
it's like, yeah, he was like, give me like $5 and give me your memory card and I'll grind out levels for you or get past this part for you or whatever the case may be. And so people would do it. Like people would give him their PS1 memory cards and $5. And my whole thing is, I'm not great at drawing, but I'm okay. I can draw
Did you used to rub
relatively.
boobies?
I used to draw, yeah, people would ask me to draw like naked pictures for them. Like people would ask me to draw like naked women and stuff. And nobody ever asked me to draw anything weird because it was just a bunch of horny like 11, 12, 13 year olds. And I
Yeah.
think they were just like, yeah, draw me some boobs. you know? It's like very like, lowbrow stuff. And they would give me like 5, $10 a pop for it. Well, one time I had like a bunch of commissions, I
Oh
guess.
no.
like a small stack of probably 6 or 7 drawings of just naked women like inside of my desk because I used to actually have when I was younger I actually really wanted to be an artist like
Yeah.
that was kind of my first like profession choice. Like I used to have a desk that had an easel and like a light box on it and stuff when I was younger, and I would just sit and draw all day. Like I just loved to draw. It really ever since watching like The Lion King as a kid, that was what really, like, after seeing The Lion King, I was like, man, like, I love the art of this and I want to be an artist, you know? Um, it's not really my passion at all anymore, but back then that was definitely what I wanted to do. And so anyway, I had in my desk there, I had a small stash of probably, 7 or 8 pictures that people had asked me to draw. And somehow or another, I don't know if somebody like ratted me out or something like that, but my parents found it. And I remember my dad, he was like, he like, I remember coming into my bedroom and he was there holding him and he's like, what is this? Well, what is this? He's like, you even know what this is? And like, I was like, yeah, I know what that is, and stuff like that. And I think that's actually how we segued into me getting the talk
Oh, God
for,
bless.
for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the first time I ever had the talk. And yeah, so that was a whole experience. I didn't necessarily get into trouble for it, but it was a little bit weird.
Just
You
got
know,
into, it
think
just led into an awkward situation.
it was definitely an awkward situation. And it's a little bit weird to think about back then. I was like 11 years old, basically drawing like hentai. It was like anime girls that I was like drawing for people. And it was just funny because word kind of like got around fast. Like I think there was like 1 or 2 people at first, and then it got to the point where a lot of people wanted me to draw it. I must have drawn naked anime girls for like 15 to 20 guys that were younger.
The
You know?
funniest thing about it, like, would people like legitimately like give you like what they wanted?
Yeah, like they would tell me like I want her to have purple hair or like whatever the case may be. I want her to be wearing this. I want this or that, this or that.
Absolutely incredible.
And they would just carry around their little like notebooks or whatever and like put it in there. And like it wasn't even great. I mean, I'm like 11, 12 years old. Like I'm young. Like it's not like I was like drawing some great masterpiece hentai. You know what I mean? That's not what was happening. But it was a little like side hustle, and I would have a little bit of money, and I would like buy video games with it.
Well, there you
You
go.
know, because that was the thing, growing up. When I was a kid, I got video games on my birthday and on Christmas. You know, there's
Preach,
no in between.
preach.
There's no in between. So like if I wanted a video game, a non-holiday related video game, I had to buy it myself. You know, so that was how I made my money, and maybe that was how my parents caught wind of it. Thinking back to it, maybe they were like,
How is he getting these
maybe,
video games and shit?
how is he buying these? Yeah, it's not as if I made like a ton of money. I probably bought like one game with the money that I made or something like that. But I think he was probably like, well, how's he getting money? You know what I mean? And maybe they even interrogated the guy I'm referring to. Maybe they even asked him, and maybe he ratted me out. I don't know, but that's a likely scenario.
Well, at that
That's
point, he's
another
made an enemy
caper.
for life.
I haven't talked to him in like almost 3 years,
I don't know.
so
Just
that'll be fine. That's another caper for the books. I'm trying to. There's so many stories that I could think back to. God, uh, did I ever? I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or not, but did I tell you the story of? I feel like I may have because it's Christmas related, and I almost wonder if I told this story around Christmas time. Um, the story of when my sister Eden tricked me into opening a present early.
I feel like you might have.
I may have told it. I guess I'll tell it again though, just for posterity in case I didn't tell it. So I do apologize if you've heard this one already. But it was Christmas. We were, maybe 12, 13, and and this is so funny. We My parents went out of town somewhere, and my sister and I were just home alone. And she was like, "Hey, if you open a present, like if you open it, take one of your small presents from under the tree, and you open it, I'll open one too, and that'll just be our little secret, and I won't tell mom or dad." I was like, "All right, that sounds good." So we each grab like a small present under the tree, and she's like, "All right, you go first."
That's
And
where you fucked up right there.
it is. I was always so naive to her like plots Like I was always definitely like it was like a fucking Looney Tune
So did you sit
scenario.
there like drooling, like, you go first? It's
Yeah,
like,
she's like Pennywise. She's like, take it. Yeah, she's basically just like, yeah, yeah, go first, basically. And I'm just like, okay. And and I just like rip into it gleefully. And I remember it was like something lame. In fact, it was a DVD copy of a movie, a Steve Martin movie called like The Man with Two Brains. Just the most random, like, they probably got it in the dollar bin, um, comedy. And she, as soon as I open it, she goes, "All right, I'm telling mom." And I'm like, I was like, What?" And she runs over to the phone and calls my parents. And like she's, laughing the whole time. And like she hands the phone to me, and my parents are like, "You just sit and wait in your room. You're in so much trouble." Blah blah blah. And I'm crying. I'm like, "No, no." She said she was gonna open one too.
it's like, I gotta respect the level of just savagery involved with that. It was just like,
she she used to just fuck with me all the time.
but like just the pure savagery of just like the moment you open that shit up. Gotcha,
I
bitch.
pretty much. I was just such a good-hearted, like kind little boy. I just didn't want to like, dude, I'm the dweeby, dorky, nice kid who like called the Disney Channel to give my teacher a recognition award,
Oh no.
like a teacher appreciation award. I was just a sweet little baby boy, and she took advantage of that so many times. And and I remember I thought that I, I thought to myself after my parents told me to wait in my room and I was in so much trouble, I thought to myself, all right, well, this is it. My life is over. I might as well kill myself.
Oh no.
So, so in my mind, the best way that I had of committing suicide was to dehydrate my body to the point of death. And so what I did was I took all of my jackets and sweaters and layered them on top of
You
myself.
sweat yourself.
And I trapped myself inside of my closet and I just wanted to sweat myself out until I died.
I'll
That
say
was my
this: I respect the creativity.
that was my plan to kill myself before my parents came home and killed me for opening up a shitty Steve Martin movie.
See, that makes it funnier. Like, what was your reaction to your dumbass when they came home?
They came home and they open up the closet and I remember just like looking up at them like, like all sweaty, and it's like probably smells like just garbage inside of that closet. And I'm just laying on the floor, like looking like an idiot with like 15 jackets on, just like starfished out on the ground in a sweaty mess. My hair is probably like matted to my pimply forehead.
God bless.
And yeah, no, that that was how I thought I would kill myself. Another funny story when she fucked with me. We our bus stop was a little bit up the road from
Mm.
where we lived. So it was like, a little bit of a walk. It wasn't like a major walk, but it was, you would get dropped off at the bus stop after school and you would walk home. Well, my mom and dad at the time were both working. So it was like we would get home and there would be like a couple of hours, you know, where we would be alone. So it's like, okay, there's a key like under the doormat or whatever the case may be. Get in, like don't open the door for anybody. That type of shit. You know what I mean? And when I was growing up, it was a different time. You couldn't really do that now. People are fucking crazy now, but back then it wasn't really that big of a deal to leave your kids home alone. You know what I mean? And my sister, she races home. Like as soon as we get off the bus, this must have been so premeditated because I remember she just like darts off the bus and just like ran
And
home.
she lock
I
you in?
was,
Lock you out, I mean.
yeah, yeah, and I was like, all right, well there she goes. Let me just casually walk to the house. And yeah, she locked me out.
See,
And
from what I'm gathering, is you're just a fucking fool.
dude, it was a Looney Tune scenario. Like I was definitely Wile E. Coyote and she was the Roadrunner. You know what I mean? Like She just like I said, just when I was a kid, I was just such a like good-natured, like sweet boy. And it was almost like I wasn't wise to the ways of the world yet.
Eden apparently was the
I was,
spawn of
yeah, I
like
was,
evil going on over here.
yeah. Eden was, but I just was not, I was not like wise to the evil in the heart of man. You know what I mean? I was just like, everything's great. Nobody would ever double cross me. And I walked home and like, yeah, the doors were all locked. And she was just laughing at me the whole time. Like I remember she's looking out the window at me, trying to unlock the door, and she's just sitting there laughing. And like my options were either wait like 2 to 3 hours for one of my parents to get home, or try to break in. So what I opted to do, in my infinite child wisdom,
Did you break in?
I walked around to the back and I was trying to open up one of the windows and I decided to punch the window open, which fucking sliced my pinky wide open.
Yeah, like there's a reason. Like there's well, obviously you were a child, you don't understand that. It's like that's usually why when you punch something, you cover yourself like that.
Yeah, or you use your elbow
Yeah,
or something. I just dead ass punched the window open. And yeah, I sliced my pinky clean open. And my mom had to come home. We had to call my mom. My mom had to come home and bring me back to her job where there was like, alcohol and like they stitched up my cut and stuff like that. And for a long time, I think it's actually gone now for the most part. No, no, it's still there. I have a scar on my pinky from where it happened.
a lot of like my major scars have like faded by now.
Yeah. I mean, I was young when this happened, but yeah, I still have a scar on my pinky. I'm looking at it right now. It's so small that it wouldn't really pick up on camera, otherwise I'd show it to the camera, but it's definitely still there from just slicing my pinky open.
My
I had
my favorite scar had to be the chain link fence I got impaled on my leg.
Whoa, what?
Did you not know about that?
No, I've never heard this story.
Oh, it was dumb as shit. It was really dumb. It wasn't like super deep. It went deep enough to where like obviously it scarred, but like it was during the family reunion that was at Anola's like farm type of shit.
Right, right. I
So they had like
remember
a
that.
little like fishing hole thing where they would just go in through there's another way to get to the fishing hole thing, but it was like another but everybody just went over this like bent ass fence.
Right.
So I was done. I was like whatever, I'm gonna head back. And I jumped over it, and my leg just instantly just gets caught.
Oof.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't even like think much of it. I just kind of like put myself off it, and I went to their shit. Now that I think about it, pretty dumb. I went to their little water pump, and like kind of just washed it off with their shitty groundwater.
All right, just the nasty mineral-rich dirt water.
Yeah. Hindsight, I was like, yeah, I was an idiot.
How old are you?
uh, Shit. That one, I'm trying to think of the last time they had it at Nola's.
I was about to say because I feel like I was present for
Yeah,
that
you were.
family
You were
reunion.
present for that.
Yeah,
You were there. I think we were all in the tents at one point in the back.
right. I remember that. I
Yeah, it
don't
was
remember
actually
that
during that. It was
happening.
during that trip. So either like that. It's at that point we gotta say it was probably pretty young because like you actually being at the
Yeah,
reunion.
right. Yeah, so it's got to be pretty young.
So maybe I was
Yeah,
like 10. I don't fucking know.
I miss it when they used to do the reunion at that old spot with the pool. You know what I'm
With the
talking about?
Rock.
With the Rock. Yeah, the Rock
Hmm.
was the best.
It's funny is I would love to actually see the Rock now, and it's just like this small little piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, back then we probably looked at that when we were kids like it was fucking Pride Rock.
That's exactly how we saw it. It was like Pride Rock to us, and it's just like now if I'd probably like laugh at it. It's like this tiny ass
Yeah,
little
no, it's this tiny ass. We
slab that
probably,
like kind of goes over a creek.
but I viewed it as like this fucking plateau that overlooked a vast river.
No, it was a good hangout spot though. You know.
I remember it being pretty like chill in terms of like the like because you got like the nice little breeze. It was like over a little creek,
Yeah.
a little crick as we call it. And yeah, I remember the Rock used to be like the go-to hangout
Oh,
spot because we had the family reunion there for years and years, and they just stopped. I don't remember why they stopped doing it there.
I think it's because the pool was just like it was just always out of order, and it was just like they
Yeah,
decided to like switch things up, and we at that point it's I don't even know where like they moved it like the most recent place they were doing it for a couple years was Larry's, like the
right,
church by Larry's, and
right.
then now I guess they might start using the church by Granny.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The one
the
in their
last
backyard?
reunion that just passed, the one I didn't go to it because I didn't want I was working at the time.
Right.
Um, that one that one yeah they basically had it basically at the church, and they kind of liked having it there because the thing is with the church over there is they actually have they have like a gymnasium in the back now,
Right.
so it kind of
Right.
works out. It's actually probably a really a good spot for it.
And they've got a good big they've got a big kind of dining hall.
Yeah, and then they also have a
Yeah.
playground for the kids and whatnot. Like
Right. And
it's a
they've
good
got a
probably a good spot for it.
pretty good sized parking lot and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. That
and
wouldn't be
also
bad.
if I was there, I would definitely just dip out to Granny's.
Right. That would be nice because it's literally in her backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the I assume Paula still lives there, so she probably just you know
Yeah, she still
probably
lives
just pops in
up on
there.
the top over there
Yeah.
to the left of it.
So that'd be that. That's probably a good place to have it. You know, I
Yeah,
could imagine that. I thought they did it. I thought this year I thought they did it at the same place they did it last time I went, but I
but
guess not.
that was at Larry's like church or whatever.
Right. God, I hate seeing those pictures pop up
I'm
every
with you.
time I yeah, every time I have to look at my on this day on Facebook and I see those pictures of me. I hate it. Any picture of me from the side,
Oh, dude,
basically,
it's just like
I hate.
shit. Dude, we
It's
both
like
looked. I think we both looked pretty fucking massive during the
like beached whales.
dude, like beached fucking whales during the tug of war. It's
Oh God.
it was bad. It was real bad.
We had just like my stomach would enter the frame like 5 minutes before I did. Just like God bless. It is what it is, though. I don't care. But but I do every time I see that pie. And we were both wearing our matching Psychonauts shirts,
Like idiots.
like
It's
idiots.
funny
Yeah.
is we're gonna do shit similar like during like Star Wars celebration like next
Yeah, we're
year.
gonna wear our matching Rebel shirts,
Yep.
and we'll be equally fat.
Yes.
So it won't matter in the end. I'm trying to think if I want to tell one more childhood story to round it off with. There was oh, you know what? I remember this. So speaking of Granny's house, so Granny's old house in Chicago.
Best. I have
Um,
so many good memories of that place.
oh God, yeah, that was a great. I mean, we grew up in that house.
Dude, it actually hurts me to like drive past that because they basically like built like
The
another
yard's
like little
gone.
house on like where the yard was.
Yeah,
That shit
yeah, the
hurts.
yard's gone. That's another thing. That's another thing that, to my memory, that yard was just huge and
Oh,
it
dude.
spanned.
Yeah. I think like if we were there now, if it still existed, it'd probably look like some dingy ass little piece of shit.
Yeah,
But
no, dude, we so many memories were made in that house and that yard. Like that was definitely those were formative times.
mm-hmm.
You know, we really we all grew up together in that yard and in that house. And then my days would just consist of I would wake up in the morning and have cheesy eggs and bacon.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised I didn't break my jaw at that in that yard.
That is surprising.
No,
Yeah, it is a little surprising there weren't more injuries.
yeah.
But I'd wake up in the morning, I'd have my cheesy eggs and bacon. I would watch cartoons. You know, you and I would wait for you to wake up or whatever. You and I would, fuck with some Legos or
Mm-hmm.
do whatever the hell we were doing, and play or watch movies or whatever. And then you know, ice cream truck would roll around. It was a mad dash outside down the stairs to get to the ice cream truck. Or nighttime would roll around like 5, 6 o'clock, and it was watching The Simpsons, pizza and popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. I never thought it was weird, like growing up, that we would have pizza and popcorn all the time at Granny's.
Is that weird?
I guess so. Like everybody that I've talked to, like my mom actually, like
I kind of just think that's like a good combination.
I thought so too. She will every now and then she'll do that and she'll be like, I always thought this was weird, but it's a good combination.
So
You
it's
know?
like it's like a like when you like the way you're talking about, it, I was like, what? People think that's weird? Like the fuck?
Yeah. Pizza and popcorn was like legit. Do you remember that time when Granny had that giant vase and I had a root beer float out of it?
Yeah, that was actually she did that for like your last kind of thing there before you're gonna go back to Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was this massive vase, and there was like a 2 liter of root beer in there,
hmm
basically, with just fucking like 12 scoops of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, because you have a love for root beer floats more than like most people that I know.
I love root beer
I
floats.
I love them too. Like the last one that I had though was like an alcoholic one with that not your dad's root beer, whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good shit. Yeah, I remember that, and that was always like those were what our days were back then. But um, to the story that I remember from being over there is so I was at Granny's house and I was up in the attic, where Uncle Aaron used to live, and I used to love going up to the attic because Uncle Aaron like had a bunch of stuff up there still,
Mm-hmm.
and like there would be a bunch of like comic books up there that I could read and stuff like that. I remember he had several long boxes of like X-Men comics that I would pop in there and read all the time. And anyway, I was up in the attic, and the attic was actually, if you remember, kind of like gross.
Oh no, it is. I've like it didn't bother me when I was like younger, but I like thinking back in like hindsight, yeah, that shit was nasty.
I'm running up to the attic, and I think I had one of Papa's jackets on as a cape, probably, which I think we both did regularly.
It was I think we did towels.
Towels, yeah,
Yeah.
there's photographic evidence of us doing that.
Yeah, sitting there in our like tidy whities and like fucking. It's bad.
And I was up in the attic though, and I grabbed some comics or whatever, and I'm going back downstairs. And as I'm walking back downstairs, I hear a crack,
Oh no.
like underneath my foot. Just
Did your
right?
foot fall through the fucking?
No.
Oh.
What happened was I stepped on a spider,
Oh.
and the spider had an egg sac on its back,
Oh.
and just a million fucking little baby spiders came out from underneath it.
No.
Just like underneath my foot, just dude, an immeasurable amount of spiders underneath my foot just went everywhere and just scattered like all throughout the attic. And I run down the stairs like screaming, and I tripped on the cape I was wearing and fell down the stairs. And Granny rushes into that little like, because it was like the stairs going up
Yeah.
to the attic and the stairs going down,
Yeah.
you know, and there was kind of like that, I guess, like kind of landing area that led into the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and she ran in through that and opened the door. She's like, what? She's like, what's going on? Like why are you screaming? And I'm like, there was spiders and I, you know, it was like a whole thing. I'll never forget that. It's a miracle that I don't have arachnophobia after that.
That's some real shit. Like that is like a very traumatic moment. I'm surprised you don't.
It's a
Like,
miracle. I don't like spiders, but I'm not like actively
yeah,
afraid of.
I'm not like scared of them. I just don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them either. But yeah, no, there were definitely some good times in that house. It was funny. Last time I was there, I think we drove by the house, and I still feel like I can just walk up in there. You know what I mean?
It was home, man. It was fucking home.
Even though like we have no business being there anymore and haven't in like 15 years,
Right.
I still feel like I could just waltz right up in there.
Yeah, there's just too many good memories involving that place.
I wonder if the people that live there are like cool. Wouldn't it be crazy to like talk to them and like see how what the house looks like now?
Dude, honestly, I doubt people like took care of it. Honestly,
Well, it was an old,
it's
it
already
was
an
an
old
old
house,
house.
so it's like it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to keep it up at this point.
God, it would just be so crazy to go in there and like actually look around. It'd be nuts. Just like, I feel like I remember the structure of it so well.
Oh, I definitely do.
It'd be crazy to like walk around in there. And I mean, it'd be crazy to like go down and see if is the spot that like the where you guys used to live, is that still there?
Yeah, the apartment, like the little
Yeah,
apartment. Yeah, it's still
the
a thing.
little wow.
Yeah,
God,
that's
I feel such an ownership over that.
yeah, it's like you don't realize like how small that shit was. That apartment
Yeah,
was so small.
it was. Well, I think after you guys moved out, it was basically literally a garage. It's like Papa just kept bikes and shit in there, basically.
Until like somebody moved in. I think somebody moved in before
Yeah,
like towards the I think towards the end somebody moved in.
yeah, yeah.
It was like a shitty tenant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
They were
remember
like
that
no
vaguely.
good. Oh God. So how did that situation work? Did they pay Granny and Papa?
What? The tenant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. God, I wonder. Now that I'm an adult, I wonder like weird things. Like I wonder what the rent was like on that house.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
I know when my parents were there, like they basically were kind of like rent free a little bit
Well, yeah.
because of the situations they were in and whatnot.
Right, right.
But that's just parents helping out a son and
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I just wonder now. I'm like, God, like how expensive was that house?
that's
You
it.
know.
That's some real shit. I would love to actually know that.
I just wonder little things like that sometimes. Anyway, that's a tangent. These are good memories, though. I'm glad we had this conversation. It was a nice little walk down memory lane there. But anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up this little nostalgia fueled childhood only relevant to you and I podcast?
Basically, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed whatever this was. We'll catch you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.